I've told this story twice before in my life. Once to the cops, once to a therapist, and both times I saw the same thing in their eyes. They didn't believe me. I think to, but they didn't. And that's fine, because if they did, they'd never sleep again. I don't talk about this night much anymore. I used to think if I kept telling it, maybe it would lose its grip on me. But it hasn't. Every time I think about it, it feels like I'm right back in my old beat-up Nissan Versa, smelling the mix of pizza grease and cold night air, watching the headlights cut through the empty roads of a town that felt too quiet for its own good. It was the winter of 2017, and I'd been working at Domino's in a small Pennsylvania town just outside of Scranton. We did a lot of late-night deliveries for the college crowd, so I was used to driving in the dark, pulling up to strange houses, meeting odd people, and moving on. But that night, that night, I wish I had just called in sick. It was around 11:45 p.m. when the order came in. Large pepperoni, extra cheese, 2 bottles of Coke. No big deal. But the address wasn't in the usual delivery zone. It was a little further out, almost rural, near an area called Hollow Creek Road. I knew the road by name only because it was the one everyone joked about. People said if you drove down there at night, you'd see lights where there were no houses or hear voices in the trees. I always thought that was just small-town campfire talk. The GPS told me it would be about a 15-minute drive. The order was already prepaid, so I didn't even have to worry about change. Just drop it off and head back. The first thing that felt off was when I turned onto Hollow Creek. There weren't any street lights, just long stretches of cracked pavement surrounded by thick, skeletal trees. My headlights barely seemed to touch the darkness. My GPS showed the house about 3 miles in, but after 2 miles I started passing houses that looked abandoned, boarded up windows, porches sagging like tired old men. Some had mailboxes so rusted you couldn't read the numbers. I remember gripping the steering wheel tighter, telling myself it was just a weird part of town. Then I saw the house. It didn't look abandoned exactly, but it didn't look lived in either. 2 stories, old wood siding, paint peeled down to grey. There was a porch light on, but it flickered like it was about to die. The weirdest thing? There wasn't a single car in the driveway. I thought maybe they parked around back. I grabbed the pizza, the 2 Cokes, and walked up the steps. Every step groaned under my weight, and when I knocked on the door, the sound echoed like the place was empty. After a few seconds, I heard footsteps. Slow, uneven. The door opened, just a crack, and a man's face appeared in the gap. His eyes were wrong. Not inhuman, but there was something about them that made me feel like he hadn't slept in days. His skin looked pale, almost grey. He didn't say hello, just stared at me for a few seconds before whispering, "You made good time." I handed him the pizza and drinks, trying to be polite. Yeah, here you go. Have a good night." He didn't take the pizza right away. He just kept staring, then smiled, showing teeth that were a little too white for the rest of him. Finally, he took the food and said, "Don't linger here." Then he shut the door. I was halfway down the porch steps when I heard something from inside, like furniture dragging across the floor, followed by a low thud. My stomach knotted. I glanced back, and through the gap in the curtains, I swear I saw 3 other figures standing in the living room. None of them moved, and I couldn't make out their faces, but they were all turned toward the door. I walked faster. I got in my car, started it up, and that's when I noticed something in the rearview mirror. The porch light was still flickering, but now the man was standing on the porch again, holding the pizza box, empty. He hadn't had time to eat it. The box was open and clearly empty. He was just staring at my car. I drove off, not caring that my tires squealed. My GPS told me to go straight, but the road ahead looked darker than before. The trees seemed closer to the asphalt, like they were leaning in. Then my headlights caught movement. A shape darted across the road, low to the ground, fast, but too big to be an animal I recognized. I slowed, heart pounding. The thing was gone, but when I looked in the side mirror, I saw something worse. Those 3 figures from the living room were standing in the road behind my car, perfectly still. My brain scrambled for explanations. Neighbors playing a prank, drunk college kids messing with me, but their stillness was too perfect, too wrong. I hit the gas and didn't stop until I saw the main highway again. I told myself I'd never take a delivery there again. But when I got back to the store, my manager frowned and said, "Where's the pizza?" I blinked. "What do you mean? I delivered it." He shook his head and turned the screen toward me. The order was still marked as out for delivery, and the address wasn't even in our system anymore. It was gone, like it had never been placed. That was 8 years ago. Sometimes late at night, I'll get a craving for pizza, and I'll open my delivery app. Every now and then I'll see that same address pop up, Hollow Creek Road, just for a second before it disappears. And when that happens, I swear I can feel someone watching me through the window, waiting for me to take the order again.